Once again, I'm at my post near the window looking out for a UPS truck. It's 1 o'clock in Calgary, Alberta. Oops. And I wanted to go for lunch, and then I leave my building and I see a FedEx truck, and the guy stopped, and I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm getting a new cell phone and I forgot, is it being shipped by FedEx or UPS? So I stopped right there, I grab my phone, and I see a tracking number, and it says UPS. And so I remember they said delivery sometime this week. I think it's coming from Toronto. When I switched from Bell to Telus, I asked him if I can go to cell phone store to pick up the new iPhone, and they said no, it has to be shipped because you got it on the internet, like you did the switch on the internet. And so I look at the tracking number and it says delivery by UPS February 7th by end of day. Son of a gun. And it was like around 12 o'clock when I was leaving. And so I know that UPS can come anytime between 12 and 5 here. And so I went back and decided to have a lunch in-house, cook some eggs, and now I don't know if you can hear that ticking. That's my toaster oven. I'm baking some sweet potatoes. I need the potassium. And I did them 2 days ago. Looked up online, and how long do you bake sweet potatoes in a toaster oven? And they said anywhere between 40 and 55 minutes, depending on the size. And so when I did my first experiment 2 days ago, I did 30 minutes, then another 20, and they were still half raw. So I still have to do another 10 minutes, I think. And so now I put 30 minutes, now I'm waiting till it stops, because that's the max time I have, and then I'm gonna put it for another 30 minutes. But the issue I wanted to talk about today is it's been a while since I did any videos about freight, which is the first word in the title of this channel, right? So freight, guns, and muscle cars. So freight, so my first load of the year did get delivered, but since it's still an ongoing investigation, I'd rather not talk about the forklift, but I want to talk about a theoretical scenario. So let's say we have a satellite repair shop in Mexico. So what these guys do, they take old satellites and they refurbish them and they sell them. So in this scenario, we have 5 parties to this deal. So number one is the shop that does the repair of the Mexican satellites, who is also acting as shipper. So we have the shipper. Now we have the buyer or equipment dealer, right? Somebody, let's say in Texas, who buys these refurbished satellites from Mexico, from the shipper. So that's party number 2, dealer. Party number 3 is a receiver, who is also customer of the dealer, of the wholesaler, right? And then party number 4 is carrier, and party number 5 is broker. So this just shows you how, even though we're talking about Mexican satellites, how quickly everything can get super complicated. So the shipper refurbishes old satellite in Mexico and sells it to the dealer. The dealer in Texas finds a buyer who's willing to pay him the big bucks for this satellite and reuse it. So that's our customer or receiver, right? And then we have a carrier and a broker. So the shipper finds a broker who finds a carrier, and the satellite, because it's been finished, refurbished, it's getting picked up at the shipper, but it's not going to the dealer, it's going to the customer of the dealer, right? So basically party number 3. Now, hold on 1 second. That's 30 minutes. All right, another 30 minutes. So now, when the carrier shows up at the shipper loads the satellite on the truck. The carrier secures the satellite, starts moving, and then it gets delivered to the final customer, and the customer signs a piece of paper, something that says something about the load, right? So proof of delivery, and he just signs his name, received. So nothing is said about anything being wrong with the satellite, and that's the customer or receiver, right? So the receiver is happy, right? And the carrier sends a message to the broker saying, hey, the load is delivered, we're good, no issues. Okay, so the broker celebrates with a can of non-alcoholic beer. But then 2 hours later, the dealer, party number 2, the dealer who sold the satellite to the customer, the dealer emails the broker and says, hey, have you heard about the missing antenna? Like, what? Well, when they shipped it, there was an antenna on the top of the satellite, and now there's no antenna. We can send you pictures. The receiver sent me pictures. And I'm like, wait. The receiver signed the bill of lading. There was no damage. Everything was fine, right? And then, so the broker starts talking to all these numerous parties, right? And then 2 days later, the shipper, party number 1, calls the broker and says, have you heard about the chip on the display on the front of the satellite? Like, what? Well, that's kind of like a bullseye mark on the display, so we need to replace that. And I'm like, wait, now we have a broken display on the satellite on top of the fallen off antenna? The broker calls the receiver, the customer, and just confirms, like, why did you sign the paperwork and no note of damages ever was made? And the customer says, well, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do that, if I'm supposed to note any damages. But basically the customer says nothing to the carrier. So the carrier under full impression that everything is good. And then 1 day later, all the parties start complaining about the fallen off antenna, lost in the transit, and then 1 more day after that, all the parties start dealing with the chip on a display, right? And so basically the Mexican satellite repair shop is not happy, the dealer in Texas is not happy, the customer, the receiver, is not happy because the dealer says, why did you sign? Why didn't you make any notes, right? So, and the broker calls the receiver, like, what's wrong with you, right? The carrier is probably the only party that's happy because they said, what are you guys talking about? The satellite was loaded by the shipper, our driver secured it, it was delivered, no noise was made about any missing parts or any cracks, bullseyes or stuff like that. So we have proof in the form of clean paperwork with the signature of the receiver. And so now the broker is the one party that gets the most heat, because the broker gets calls and emails from the shipper, from the dealer, and from the carrier. Like, the customer doesn't care about this, the final guy who bought the satellite from the dealer, but but the shipper, the dealer, and the carrier are all on the case of the broker, basically saying, what's wrong with you? Of course we have to be compensated. Well, that's for the shipper and the dealer. And the carrier, of course, says, what's wrong with you? Like, it's not our problem. We delivered the satellite, right? And so that's a theoretical depiction of a situation I'm in right now with that forklift, with this crazy 5 parties involved, and damage reports are piling up, and the machine is delivered, right? So a claim was started, and the investigation is ongoing. So I'm not gonna be taking any questions at this time, but that's probably the ugliest part of the freight broker job, is to deal with this and trying to decide, so like, you know, whose responsibility is it, right? Among these 5 parties, and the broker, was the broker anywhere near the truck? Okay, hold on, UPS. Got it. See, I was right. If I would have left for lunch when I was leaving, I would have missed this. So 20 after 1. So I would have missed this package. And then what happens, since I don't have a car right now, right? I would have to go and so here's the little box here. I would have to go to a UPS agent, which is like 20 bucks away by Uber. This is packed very well. And that's all that's inside. Alright, did they give me a new... Oh wow, they gave me a new card. See, tell us. And this should be... Plus, yeah, so iPhone 14 Plus. Should be a nice phone, but major reason I got this is because of the high theft rate with Hellcats, right? And because this phone that I had for 2 years now, I think it I don't know how to open this. Oh, then it comes out. Wow, check this out. I ordered the blue color because my car is blue. Man, look at this. So 2 cameras only, I think, right? No, and 2, and then actually 4. Whereas here I have this. So this is Samsung S21. But look how small it is. And also what was included is like this little pamphlet, I'm guessing, with the Apple logo and the cable. Yeah, no, this time, usually they give you like free earphones. No, nothing this time. So basically, like, Captain Sergei is getting back to to Apple since my main computer is iMac. Oh, but I like this. I like this color. So I'm guessing this should have my new my number programmed in it, right? Because of course my current SIM card that works with Bell, but now it's a different company. So I'm guessing I'm supposed to put this in, and that will finish the process of transfer. Because you know what they do is when you request a phone number to be transferred, like my phone, it still works. It still shows Bell. Yeah. But when you request to transfer your phone number, what happens is that, at least here with Bell and Telus, Bell sends you a text message and you have 90 minutes to respond. Where was it? Oh yeah, it says here, Bell message. We have received a request to transfer this phone number to another service provider. Your approval is required to complete the transfer. To proceed, please reply yes. To cancel, please reply no. For security purposes, you have 90 minutes to respond, or the transfer will be canceled. And this was, I think, 2 days ago. And I got inside the window because they sent this to me at 11:17 a.m. and at 11:38, basically 21 minutes after when I finally saw the message, I said yes. So this is me transferring the number. So now I have to sell this baby over here, which is actually a pretty expensive phone, S21 5G Ultra. And it worked on Verizon, then I had it on Rogers, then I had it on Bell. It works with any modern provider, it's unlocked. So it's a good phone. Anyway, so those are my news. The continuing struggle of a new freight broker to deal with the multiple parties involved in shipping freight. And thankfully, this was inside Canada, actually. Like, even my example was about a satellite repair shop in Mexico shipping to Texas, but the actual case I'm working on, it's inside Canada. So there was no international border crossing involved, no customs brokers, no CBP, nothing like that, because that would even make it more complicated. So, and that's what I wanted to mention, is like how complex this can be when so many people are involved and so many parties. Like, and for the carrier, it's pretty simple, right? The carrier only works with the broker, and they reach the agreement on price, and the carrier goes pick up the shipment, delivers the shipment, sends the invoice to the broker to get paid, right? So the carrier has a relatively easy job, but the broker, man, there's so many hats you have to wear. So the main message is that it's not as easy as many people think. Okay? Thanks for watching.